restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday, but you never did.
There was a lot going against the Silent Hill 2 remake leading up to release. The Silent Hill franchise had been in a similar state as the town within the series, a very odd way of saying it was dormant for a while. But in addition to that, Konami hadn't gotten a win in God knows how long, and the developer Bloober team were a questionable pick to say the least. However, against all odds, the Silent Hill 2 remake manages to be a solid remake worthy of the legendary game and by extension, the legendary series. But let's talk about it. Hi guys, DPX here reviewing today the Silent Hill 2 remake. Now before we get started, you know what to do. If you like this video, subscribe and hit the bell and leave a comment, or I will make sure you go missing. Starting off with the good, obviously, Silent Hill 2 is a horror game. And while you may disagree with the assessment that the original Silent Hill 2 is the best in the series, there is no disputing its importance to the survival horror genre. So with that being said, the remake nails the atmosphere and the horror extremely well. The creatures look terrifying. There are parts of the setting that you're in that'll just collapse, that can put you on edge. Some genuine jump scares, the usual writing on the walls. The Silent Hill 2 remake is as horrifying, creepy, and suspenseful as its original counterpart. And this is honestly helped out by the visuals. I don't know what it is about horror games genuinely being some of the best looking games today, as I felt this way about games like Alan Wake 2 and the recent remakes of RE4 and Dead Space, but Silent Hill 2 looks absolutely amazing. It does not disappoint in the visual department. What else is cool, although it's just like most games nowadays, Silent Hill 2 Remake gives you an option between graphics mode and performance mode, and despite me talking about just how good the visuals are, I actually suggest you play on performance mode, or fidelity as it's often referred to, because it runs so smooth and still looks fucking amazing. So you really get the best of both worlds when you play on performance mode. The game just runs so smooth and it still looks out of this world. This isn't quite exactly the same as the original though, as in Silent Hill 2 Remake, we get introduced to combat, and it's more heavily reliant on the combat this time around, as opposed to in the original. Like, you shoot enemies and beat them with a block of wood, which will eventually change to a lead pipe for the rest of the game, and many people were not thrilled about the idea of Silent Hill 2 being combat focused, but it's done very well in this game. In addition to the combat, there are also the puzzles, and I thought they were cool. Not much to say about them, but they were fine. There's also the story, obviously, which is mostly similar to the original Silent Hill 2, but with some changes, specifically making the game a bit longer so some things are more fleshed out. And I want to get into specifics, but I don't mind the changes they made. And going off the story, you get a whole bunch of characters that I thought were cool. Specifically, you know, the main character, James Sunderland, is a pretty compelling protagonist, but also some of the other characters that aren't as important serve their role perfectly. Also, just like in the original, the Silent Hill 2 remake contains multiple endings, and they're all here, even the dog one. It gives you an incentive to keep playing because, you know, you want to get all the endings. Another thing that the Silent Hill 2 remake does very well, and is something I don't normally talk about with a game unless it's done very well, and that's the sound design. Everything from the sound of enemies coming out to like water dripping to like buildings collapsing or whatnot. I'd say this game should win an award for sound design at the Game Awards, but I don't know if Konami will have any presence at a Jeff Keighley show, but that's beyond the point. The point is that Silent Hill 2 Remake has amazing sound design. And lastly, although I said there are many changes, overall, the Silent Hill 2 remake feels like a very faithful remake that really respects the original and tries to do its own thing while staying faithful. Moving on to the mixed, I have to mention the install. Sure, every game has to install, but the Silent Hill 2 remake does the annoying thing where you are able to play like 2 seconds into the game, but then it won't let you progress further because the rest of the game has to install. This is nothing new. This isn't the first game where this has happened, and it sure as hell won't be the last, but I will always include it here because it's annoying. It's not in the bad because it's an issue surrounding the game and not with the game itself, but it is still worth noting in my opinion. The other thing I'm mixed on is the music. Not that the music is bad, not at all, but a lot of it is basic eerie horror music that doesn't really stick in your head that much. Silent Hill games have good music, and not that the music in 2 Remake is bad, just like I said, it's not the strongest part of the game. Hey guys, Editing DPX here. I decided to listen to some of the music in the game, and while yes, a lot of it is like kind of just basic eerie horror music, there are some songs that do actually slap, so never mind. Moving on to the bad, I got 2 small issues. One is that the game can get a little jittery sometimes with its like graphics. But like what I mean is you go through a door, I notice this a lot, you go through a door and the screen just starts jumping, you know. I don't know if I captured any of it, but if I did, I'm sure you've seen or are currently seeing it. It doesn't ruin the game for me by any means, but it did happen quite a lot. And the other thing I didn't like is, and this is minor, but it's some of the characters' faces look a little goofy. That was a big negative talking point around this game throughout its hype cycle, and I don't want to be one of those losers calling random video game characters ugly or anything like that, but I feel goofy is the better word. James's face looks fine, and some other characters look fine too, but I just felt like, specifically Eddie, Angela, and Laura just look a little weird. It's like the facial animations is really what I'm talking about. Just didn't look right. Overall, despite some issues, the Silent Hill 2 remake is much better than I think even the most optimistic people expected. It takes a classic and remakes it not to replace the original, but to make a modern version of it, and they nailed it in that regard. With the atmosphere, the visuals, the sound design, the combat, Silent Hill 2 Remake is a remake worthy of the beloved game and by extension, the legendary series. In the end, I'm going to give the Silent Hill 2 Remake a 9.5 out of 10. So that was my review for the Silent Hill 2 Remake. What do you guys think? Do you guys enjoy the game? Do you guys like the game? Have you guys played it, not played it? If you guys haven't played it, you guys want to play it, not want to play it, anything about the game, let me know down below. Anyways, if you liked the video, come subscribe, or I'll make sure you go missing.